Maybe.
And only if people are actually parsing that raid, because you know how parsers are banned in this game.
Oh, fuck. Well, why don't we get into that shit? Right?
We're already high and shit.
Because on Twitter, apparently somebody had posted a nude mod or something, some kind of creepy shit that they had made for FF14.
Wow, that is totally gross. Where would you even get one of these nude mods for? I need to go check this out, because I don't even believe that. That doesn't even sound true. Give us a link in the chat.
So apparently someone had posted screenshots using that nude mod on Twitter. And then when they were logged on, a GM reached out to him and said, yeah, you can't do that.
What?
How sketchy is that? How weird is that? And the part of this that bothers me is that the community team and Yoshi P will go out of their way to congratulate raid teams that actively show screenshots that have ACT on the screenshot.
Parses, yeah.
Yeah. There's no consistency. At all.
That's definitely the biggest part of it, because he goes on to specify, and I don't think, at least in the screenshot that we got, I don't think that they had mentioned specifically what screenshot it was, but the person who was being acted upon said, I get why a nude mod, would you'd want it to be deleted, right? But they go on to ask a few questions.
The GM specifically cited a mod as the issue.
Right. And that's when the person said, like, I get nude mods, but goes on to ask a little bit more. And the GM is like, look, our policy basically says that if you take an image from Final Fantasy XIV, redistribute it somewhere, and alter it in any way or hide the watermark, then you are in violation of this very rule.
Right.
But I feel like after how many years is the first time that we've heard anything like this
hiding the watermark is a thing?
It is? Well, yeah.
Well, because when I take screenshots on Steam, they don't. Like, Steam has a legal way of taking screenshots, and that doesn't put the watermark on there.
Apparently,
I do it all the time.
Nika, I'm going to report you to Square Enix right now.
Square
reporting.
Because I know Nika is logged on right now. I expected GM to reach out and contact her over this issue.
I mean, I'm actually curious. If a GM wants to talk to me, I would love to talk about this, because I am very curious now.
Do the same thing that you did in the mod situation and just issue her a warning.
Her name is Nika Kayanian, our Sargatanis server.
But again, they would have to change the way that Steam screenshots worked in this game.
That's Kanayyan.
But there are people there are people who have gotten GM messages from just having risque photos of their character put on Twitter. Not even a mod in
fapping the realm.
Fapping the realm.
But there's that whole article in Kotaku about like the sex clubs and stuff, like,
I think that stuff makes Square Enix really uncomfortable. Do you think Square Enix has now gotten the sense that that this game has acquired an image of being filled with nothing but
smut,
furries, and weeaboos? Because that's a lot of times that's what I hear as, like, oh, that's that furry game. I've heard that before. Yeah.
Wow.
I've never heard that.
It's got the cat girls in it. That's some furry shit, right? Like, yeah, dude, I've heard that.
I also learned that I'm secretly a furry.
So, because this game definitely does have a weird reputation from people who have never played it. Between the weird articles on Kotaku. Yeah. Remember that one article where the guy was like, yeah, I joined a free company and it was all, 40-year-old men going, ooh.
Stop.
Right?
Oh, hey, here you go. Look, part of that chat, the player said, so modding is prohibited. And they reply, any use of third-party programs is a direct violation of the Final Fantasy XIV rules and policies. Please note that third-party program use is a violation regardless of whether any screenshots, images, or videos of the third-party program used are posted in public or private. So the fact that you specifically said that when a World First posts a video or posts screenshots
that has ACT all over it,
they're congratulated.
Yep.
They should be all banned.
They should be.
That's a pretty significant double fucking standard.
So I guess my request to the world firsters from now on is to have nude mods along with ACT and see if you get banned after that.
Oh, actually, hey, the player actually says when they asked if you have any further comments or concerns, they said, I just don't think it's fair to target me when ACT has been around for years and there have been public videos of world first clears, blah, 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 you know, so basically brings up that same point. Please always feel welcome to report any third-party program use that you become aware of so that we may investigate it and take the appropriate actions based on the evidence we find.
So
which they just go, oh, okay.
So Square Enix wants you to be a narc. But they're not denying that there is a double standard here.
Why do we even need to narc? You've seen it.
You commented on it.
Congratulated them. You've clearly seen the picture.
I have to believe that the GMs at Square Enix are better than this.
Hold on. Are we defending ERP nude mods right now?
Kinda, a little bit.
Oh.
I do kind of understand, like, if you have nude mods and post them online, that is like a really weird reputation they probably don't want. But like, it just seems like if you're using it privately, like I used to dat mod in 11 all the time. I used to change my race. I used to give myself like Eunice clothes.
Nika Kayanian on the Sergeant Tannis server.
I don't play 11 anymore.
Danger Center.
But it was never anything that was ever posted anywhere else. It was only just for my private use. And like there were like websites devoted to modding FF11 and those never got shut down. So like, I don't know, like if it's private and nobody's seeing it, what the issue is. Like, remember Samus got banned from Twitch once for streaming nude mods on 14, right?
Ah, that's right. That did happen.
I feel like if it's streamed like that, I understand the company not wanting that reputation. But in private use, I don't see an issue. But I don't know.
It's a double standard. Like to have a GM, you know, basically pull you over to tell you that, hey, what you're posting on social media, not what you've actually done in the game, that they can read or verify through the game files or through your computer through some GM tool. But hey, I noticed you posted this on Twitter. You don't think that's a little alarming? You don't think that's a little draconian on the part of Square Enix?
Yeah, you know,
how could they even confirm that was that person's actual character? That they didn't just find that screenshot somewhere and posted it because they liked it?
Here's the thing, though. What they're saying is that whether the proof is public or private, the actual violation itself isn't posting it. It's doing the mod. So regardless of it, let's say that you take a picture of nude Nero wearing his Odin mask, right? And then juxtaposts it, right? If it says Nero Grigori, they're going to look up Nero Grigori because he's the one who violated it.
Yeah, but if you mod your client and then walk up to somebody else's character, take a picture of their character.
Oh, that's fair.
In first-person view, you know, like how do you verify any of this shit? That's the dangerous.
That's pretty sketch.
That's the dangerous part of enforcing anything through social media.
You know, recently the Overwatch devs, and this is actually a few months ago, had mentioned that, you know, they're taking their modding and their policing of the community, you know, because obviously people say that it's one of the more toxic ones out there, to the next level by even like, you know, looking up like YouTube videos and stuff like that. And if they see really, really, really bad examples of it, you know, taking action for that. And I was on the fence, and I knew that I was probably being very hypocritical about this, but the idea that, you know, toxic people were getting what was coming to them was enough for me. But you're right, this kind of makes me change my view on honestly all of it, because should you really be using evidence from outside of your game to police it?
Because I thought they said before that, like, if someone harasses someone off the game, or if someone says they did something on Facebook and you give it to them, they're not going to be able to do anything with it because they don't have official proof. It could be Photoshopped,
apparently, apparently that's bullshit.
Yeah, that does seem really bizarre. Unless somebody reported him specifically, but even still, their only proof would be out of the game, not in the game. So
exactly. How do you enforce this?
So is it okay, so long as we don't use any types of mods, everything that we use is within the game and the watermark remains on there, we can still do whatever we want? So fapping the realm was okay.
I don't know.
Wasn't it?
I don't know. I think I don't know. Do we want to bring it back to find out?
Did it say altering images in any way is not allowed?
Correct. Yeah.
Like even like color enhancement or like. I just feel like so many people Photoshop and make like really, really good looking screenshots on Instagram, but they use like filters and editing software to make their pictures look really good.
And that helps promote the game well. You know,
are they not allowed to do that?
Technically, when when I made that, there was a banner. Well, fuck, there's been tons of banners that we've made for episodes where we've used in-game screenshots, right? Technically,
and we've altered all of those.
We are in
violation.
I take screenshots every time I'm getting to level 70 because I'm going to make like this epic collage of being 70 on every single job. And every single time I'm enhancing the
violation.
I'm changing the shadows.
That's
like, am I going to get banned for that?
Honestly though, this is
like, I just want to show them how much of a no lifer I am on their game and they won't let me do that. Like, come on.
Honestly, though, this is, I think that, there's a huge double standard. And I think that this goes to, a lot of people's point when they go, listen, there's, you've got streamers and raiders that are treated differently by the staff than your average player. And I think that that's really weird.
Yeah, look, I don't expect them to go around on Twitter or YouTube or whatever and just try and figure out who every single video that ACT is on belongs to, whatever, and track everyone down and ban them. That is a little bit too extreme. There's no way that anyone has the manpower for that. But I think what upsets me the most about this, and let me be clear, I don't give a fuck that this person was disciplined for posting nude mods. Fucking whatever. Get your ERP bullshit out of here. But you're right. The fact that when a world first happens, I have to assume that as the developers of this game, that's something that they're probably into and excited for. So they probably watched these videos or at least seen that screenshot. And the fact that they know we can easily track down who those people are, they're using ACT. You broke the rules. Period.
Yeah,
how do they not do anything about that, especially with something as visible as world firsting?
Yeah, and like originally I thought it was because, Yoshi P had kind of said like parsers are inherently bad, just don't talk about it. So I kind of figured that seeing it on the world first pages was kind of fallen into that category. But then if they're going to enforce this specifically, that's where the double standard comes in.
Yes.
Like, I always kind of brush it aside as like, oh, he said as long as we don't talk about it anywhere in the game, they'll kind of overlook it. Like, I always assumed that was the goal. Like, that was why. But now this just kind of proves that that's not why.
So here's my question then. Going forward, let's say when the next raid comes out, they said, put in a claim or put in a ticket, a report, right? We'll look into it. If enough people were to report the Spaceys for world firsting the next raid with links to a YouTube video, which is clearly the Spaceys beating it with ACT, would we see action taken against them?
Absolutely not. No, I don't think so.
I doubt it, just because of how intense the first world competition is and what that means with the people that follow them and how much outrage there would be. And if they ban their world firsters, who do they have? Like, I just feel like that's horrible.
Well, I mean, honestly, when you I mean, this is kind of the problem with with Twitch and things like that. Like, there are people who have huge megaphones, and if they get banned for a slight or for something that they think is unjust, it's going to force Square Enix to have the conversation. It's going to force them to have the conversation about ACT or about modding, and they don't want to have it. They banned, or I'm sorry, they warned someone that they thought didn't matter enough. That that this would happen and people wouldn't talk about it because no one really knew who they were.
Yeah, I think it was a pretty big example because as I was reading through some more of the chat here, she mentions that, so basically I just have to delete all of my Twitter now because there's a lot of modded stuff. Some people really get into that. I mean, remember even back in FF11, modding the Scorpion harness to look black because it was more sneaky.
Okay.
So I should have got banned for that.
Well, I mean, but the reality of it is that it is Square Enix's game, and they can enforce things however they want to.
Yeah, Soraya, which if that's the Soraya we think it is, hey, what's up? Obviously, she says the standard is that it depends on what they see as damaging to the brand. Someone beating a raid in record time? Great! A nude mod? Oh, think of the children.
I personally think that the World Firsters should all mod their characters to have nude mods and still post the video and just see what happens.
Yeah, except your World Firsters aren't going to champion this cause.
We want to hear from you.
will.
Limit Break Radio on Skype, 810-515-8715, limitbreakradio.com/Discord. You can answer last week's question if you want. What does Square Enix need to do? What do they need to announce at FanFest to be able to keep you as a customer? Or you could talk about this issue with the nude mods and, strange enforcement on the part of the Square Enix team and the GM team. I think, because I've seen a lot of people talking about this, a variety of opinions, all the way from, well, it's their game, they can do whatever they want, to, well, shouldn't their dogma at least be consistent? And I mean, both of those things are true. I think both of those things can be true at the same time. But this really does leave a sour taste in my mouth, especially as someone who's a content creator for this community. When are we going to be next on that docket?
The thing I immediately thought of when I read this was last week when I made the banner for our last episode. I got a screenshot of Eureka, I think it was, and I remember putting it, pasting it into Photoshop and then lowering it down just a tad so that watermark was just underneath the line. Because
that's editing the picture.
That is technically editing the picture. Yes, it is.
You're banned.
I'm just still wondering about Steam screenshots.
That's
I really
Kalo Landis, Landis. Yeah, DIS. Yeah, I know how to spell my name.
Because I have the Steam screenshot set to save in a PNG format rather than a JPEG, and they save to a separate folder so that way they are higher resolution. That's also I'm so curious because they have their game on Steam. They know Steam screenshots is a thing that's allowed. So, and I also run mine through Steam, even though I don't have it through Steam, I can still run it through Steam, and I take screenshots through Steam.
Yeah, I have no idea how that.
I'm honestly curious on their policy involving that.
So we should ban everyone using Steam?
I don't know. If you've taken a screenshot and posted it somewhere without the watermark, I'd assume so.
And you're nude, though.
Oh, okay.
Remember, it's only if it shows the game in a negative light, which then still begs the question, why are we still around?
Very good question. I mean, shouldn't we have been, at least warned? I feel a little bit left out, actually.
Because we haven't been warned over this.
We've been doing lots of screenshots for our title cards, and why haven't...
Well, okay, look, not even that, because the screenshots for our title cards, those are never negative in any way. But on our show, we get downright pretty raunchy sometimes. Fanfics?
Do we need to start making our title cards be raunchier?
Maybe.
And here's the funny thing. I feel like anytime a title card may have gotten to the point where maybe it was a bit too much, I don't think we use actual, completely by accident. This wasn't intentional, but we don't use actual in-game footage. Remember the one that I made that you said looked like a political cartoon, where it was like Yoshi's face on the Grim Reaper holding bags of money?
Yes, I do remember.
Yeah. There's technically there was no FF14 properties that was used for that. Now, if the clip art people come after us, we might be in trouble.
We want to hear from you. Limit Break Radio on Skype, 810-515-8715, limitbreakradio.com/Discord. There's not a whole